Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Katrine and today I'll be sharing with you how I made my mini cakes because there are people who are asking how I did those cuties. For starters, I would like to prepare my chocolate sauce. Now you may use cocoa for this, then add some condensed milk, but I prefer to melt my chocolate. I'll be using dark Belgian chocolate coins. But first, I'm going to weigh them down. So sorry if you can hear some drillings and there's a construction here on our neighborhood. So please excuse that noise. Okay, then I'm going to melt it over some hot water. As you can see, I placed it on a bigger bowl and then pour some water very carefully. Now we can put a plate over to close this bowl, or it's so hot today so I prefer it to be just as is and let it melt on its own. Now obviously you can do that on a microwave, but if you don't have, you can just simply do as I did. And now I have my cakes. This is some scraps. I am using scraps from my cakes the other day because this is just for video purposes only. So I usually just use one thick cake, one single layer of cake. But since these are scraps that are so thin, I'm going to add another layer on top of this cake later on. So now that our cake is in the pan, we can now do our filling. And we're going to use a mousse type of filling for our cakes. So let's check on our chocolate, and we need to stir it. Now this is a real Belgian chocolate, so it will melt easily. So we don't really have to use a machine or electronics for this because you can easily burn the chocolate. So, 'di ba? Ito kanina pa siya nandito sa labas, pero namemelt pa rin siya. Tignan nyo. Kasi ganyan siya kabilis matunaw. Yung ating Belgian chocolate. So now that our chocolate is looking rich and shiny, look at that. Yum. Now we're ready to make our mousse. So for the mousse, you only need 2 ingredients, and we have our first ingredient here, which is our melted chocolate. And then let's get our cream. So I have here a clean bowl, and then I'm going to add a 1 to 1.5 cup of whipped cream. This is just plain whipped cream, but you can add condensed or powdered sugar to make it sweeter, but for me it's just a plain whipped cream. So if you're doing this with cocoa powder, you need to make the consistency just like the melted chocolate. You don't want to make it too runny or too thick. So, dapat ganito lang yung consistency niya, guys. Medyo malapot-lapot, no? Rich consistency dapat. And also, if you're using a cocoa powder with condensed milk, you want it to be lump-free. So, walang mga buo-buo. Okay? Now, I'm going to stir it very vigorously to incorporate our melted chocolate in the whipped cream. So, we have a smooth and silky mousse filling for our cake. There, as you can see, it is so smooth. It has no lumps. So again, for the cocoa powder, you can add condensed milk and make it as the consistency of a melted chocolate, so that you can also achieve a smooth and silky mousse. But if you use cocoa powder onto our cake, it will be a chantilly. So you have to first dissolve it in maybe some hot water for it will be lumpy, no, kung condense agad. So dissolve nyo muna and then add some condensed milk and make it a luscious, rich consistency. So there, incorporate it and you have your chantilly. So chantilly is just basically a flavored or sweetened whipped cream. So yung mousse naman is may in-incorporate tayo na chocolate or cream cheese. You can also add gelatin for stability of our mousse. Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, medyo mainit tayo, no? So, kung ang reception ay outdoor, pwede nyo lagyan. But since we add our Belgian chocolate, I think we don't have to put gelatin for stabilizer anymore, because chocolate is a good stabilizer na itself, no? Kung gusto nyo, dagdagan nyo para medyo mas matigas siya. Pero, after nyo to i-chill, titigas na siya eh. So, when we chill this overnight, it will make our mousse stabilize na. So, ganun talaga, no? Bawas siya hatiin ngayon. Pambukas pa talaga siya hahatiin. Para yung so that our mousse or your icing or chantilly will set, no? We cannot cut this straight away. We have to set our icing, or in our case, mousse. So you will notice tomorrow when you're going to cut this that the texture of our icing or our mousse is changed. So I'm using now an offset spatula to just smoothen out our mousse, and I am not literally going to the crevices and the edges of our cake, because as you have noticed earlier, my cake is a little shorter than my pan. So yeah, and I have melted some chocolate and add a little bit of butter for extender, because I don't want the top layer to be so hard to cut into, no? And also it is quite spreadable if you have an extender such as butter in your chocolate. Otherwise it will form easily. Yung chocolate magbubuo agad, di mo na siya may spread. So we want to add extender kasi malamig yung ating mousse. So I added some extender for our chocolate not to form easily. Okay? And now I'm just going to spread our chocolate sauce. We don't want it too thick. no? Kasi mahirapan ulit tayong maghiwa. So, dapat, ano lang siya, even and not too thick. No? Tama lang. Yung tama lang na layer ng chocolate. So, I would like to top our cake just like so to even out the layer, to smoothen it out. And it is now ready to be chilled. Yay! So after chilling, we are now ready to slice our cake and then place it on our platter and then do some decorations for it. So please don't forget to check our FB page to know more about us and our cakes. So there we have our chocolate cake, and this one is our mango chantilly cake. Please comment down below if you want me to show you how to prepare our mango chantilly cake. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from us, and until next time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and smash the like button. This is Kat. Bye.